Hello, welcome to my first video. There will be a few parts of this since it's quite long. I have put a warning at the start as well. Hope you enjoy. Also sorry for any spelling mistakes. Chat between Sakuatsu and Itsumo. Hey Omi. 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 Omi Omi. 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 What? Do you want to meet up this weekend? I'm busy. Oh okay. Maybe the weekend after, but no promises. Really, I hope you can. It's been so long since we've seen each other. I'll try Tsumo, but this exam is really important and I need to study for it. Okay Omi, I'll let you study in peace. Bye. Omi is offline. Itsumo put his phone down and sighed. He just wanted to see his Omi since it has been a few weeks, but he understood that he needed to do well in this exam. He got up off his bed and went out of his room. He was going to knock on his brother's door to see if he wanted to do something, but he heard laughing coming from his room and then Suna's voice. Guess he's busy too. He whispered to himself. He then decided to make his way down the stairs and grabbed his jacket and put on his shoes. It was 8 p.m. and he decided to go for a walk. He breathed in the cool air. It's so fresh tonight. He smiled slightly and carried on walking. He made his way to the park and sat down on the bench. It was a less visible area. He was alone. Itsumo brought his knees up to his chest and hugged them. I wonder if anyone would miss me if I disappeared. Samu is always with Suna. Omi lives far and is always studying or cleaning. Kita is always with Eren. The team is always with their friends, family, or studying. And I'm here, alone as usual. Tears slowly made their way down his face. Itsumo touched his cheeks, feeling the wetness, and sighed. He wiped them away and he got up off the bench. He started walking again and decided that he would go to a convenience store. As he was walking, he felt someone pull him into the alleyway and pin him harshly against the wall. "Back, get off me!" he shouted, trying to get out of the grip but failed. "Well, we meet again, Itsumo-miya." Itsumo looked at the person and his eyes widened in fear. What do you want? You're the one who got me expelled back then because you told your precious brother. So now you get what you deserved for that. He punched Itsumo across the face harshly, making him fall to the floor. He carried on beating Itsumo to the point where he was unconscious, but that didn't stop him. He carried on longer, wanting Itsumo to wake up in even more pain to the point where he couldn't move. Once the guy was satisfied, he just left Itsumo there unconscious and bleed. With Osamu and Suna. Osamu went downstairs to get him and Suna a bottle of water from the fridge. When he opened it, he saw that Itsumo still hasn't eaten his food he made for him. He grabbed 2 bottles of water and went back to his room, giving Suna one. Itsumo still hasn't eaten his food, so I'm just going to check up on him. Okay. Osamu left the room again and went to knock on his brother's door. "Sumu, you need to eat." No reply. Sumu. No reply again. "Sumu, you better not be ignoring me." When there was no reply again, he went to open the door and was surprised that it was unlocked. He went in to see the room dark. He switched the light on, but no Itsumo. Sumu. Osamu looked around Itsumo's room to make sure he wasn't hiding, trying to pull a prank, but he couldn't find him. He left Itsumo's room and looked around the house, calling his name, but no sign of him. "Babe, you okay?" Suna came out to see what was taking Osamu so long. "It's Itsumo. He isn't here." "Huh? But he always says if he's going out." "I know, but he isn't in his room and he is nowhere in the house." "Have you tried calling him?" "No. I'll try now." Osamu pulled out his phone and went to Itsumo's contact and pressed the call button. They heard his ringtone upstairs and they both ran up to see his phone, but no Itsumo. He could be anywhere. Worry started to fill Osamu. "It's okay, he might be with the germaphobe." "Yeah, but he lives hours away, but I'll text him to see." Chat between Sakuatsu and Osamu. "Oi, what? Is Itsumo with you?" "No, he isn't." "Why?" "He isn't here and he left his phone and we have no idea where he is." "When was the last time you saw him?" "After school, because me and Suna have just been hanging out in my room. He last texted me 4 hours ago." "Did he say anything about going anywhere?" "No, he didn't." "Right, I'm going looking for him if he's been gone for so long." "Okay. Text me when you find him." "Sure." Sakuatsu is offline. Osamu is offline. He isn't with him. Does he know where he could be? "No, the last time he texted Sumo was 4 hours ago." "I'm going to go look for him. I always get a bad feeling when he does stuff like this. Must be a twin thing. Let's go look together since it's late." Yeah, they both got their shoes and jackets on. They decided to go to the places where Itsumo would most likely be. They checked the park, a late-night cafe and convenience stores. They've been looking for hours. Maybe we should head back. It's nearly 3 in the morning. He might have gone back, but if not, we need rest to carry on looking for him. Osamu didn't want to, but he could see Suna trying to keep his eyes open and not shiver from the cold. Osamu pulled him into a tight hug. Yeah, I'm sorry baby. You should have told me you were cold and tired. Suna snuggled into the warmth that Osamu was giving off. He could have fallen asleep then and there. He kept Suna close to him as they walked home. Then something caught Osamu's eye. Babe, hang on a second. Osamu let go of Suna and knelt to the ground and picked up a set of keys. He inspected it and it had the same keyrings that Itsumo has on his. Are they Itsumo's? Yeah. They both looked down the alleyway and Osamu got up. He knew that alleyways weren't the safest at night, so he kept Suna close to him. He turned on his phone flashlight to the lowest setting so they didn't attract any attention. As Osamu kept the light shining more towards the ground, a familiar trainer came into view. He lifted his torch up to see Itsumo laying there unconscious and bleeding. Itsumo. Both Osamu and Suna went to Itsumo's side. They saw he was in bad shape and they didn't want to move him and risk anything. I'll call an ambulance now. Suna dialed the number and explained to them what the situation was. As Suna was doing that, Osamu was trying his best to keep calm. Sumu, wake up. He knew he wouldn't get a reply because Itsumo was knocked out cold. The ambulance is on its way. Oh okay. They said that we just need to keep checking his pulse and keep him warm. Since we don't know how long he's been like this, the cold might start getting to him. Suna explained and Osamu nodded. He checked his twin's pulse and slightly relieved that there was still a strong enough pulse for the time being. The ambulance arrived 20 minutes after Suna made the call. However, for them it felt so much longer. The paramedics did some checks on Itsumo to get a general idea of injuries and they asked the other two some questions as well. They put Itsumo on a stretcher and took him to the back of an ambulance where they put him on the bed, giving him some gas and air as well as putting the heating on to keep him warm. We can only take one other person in the ambulance with us. You go with them, babe. Osamu looked at Suna and shook his head. I'm not leaving you out here to get back. I don't want you getting hurt like Tsumu did. Osamu turned to the paramedic. I'll meet you at the hospital. The paramedic nodded and got in the back with Itsumo and gave the signal to the other paramedic to start driving. Let's get going to the hospital then. You sure you don't want to go back and rest? I can always go there if you want. Go to bed. It's fine. I'll just sleep on your shoulder when we're there. They both made their way to the hospital. Osamu keeping Suna close to him after seeing how his brother was. He didn't want Suna to get taken away from him like that. The walk to the hospital was a 30-minute walk, so when they got there they were taken to the waiting room. It was quiet and they were the only two in there. Luckily it was warm. You can sleep now if you want, babe. Okay. Suna rested his head on Osamu's shoulder. He snuggled close to him and closed his eyes. Sleep well, babe. Osamu whispered to him and gave him a gentle kiss and held him close. Osamu didn't sleep. He was too worried about his brother. He felt tired but he wanted to stay awake, to know his brother's condition as soon as the doctors knew. However, Osamu's eyes closed as well. He fell asleep too, holding Suna close to him. 9 a.m. at the hospital. Osamu opened his eyes to see that there was natural sunlight shining through and a few other people now in the waiting room quietly doing their own thing. The doctor came in and saw that Osamu was awake. Family of Itsumomiya. Yes, I'm his twin brother. Well, his condition isn't the best, however he is stable. When that was said, Osamu's stomach dropped. What's his condition? Well, he has a serious head injury. Guessing from the incident, he was hit in the head multiple times. However, we cannot say if there is any brain damage or memory loss until he wakes up. Osamu's eyes were wide with shock. He has fractured majority of his ribs. When he was being moved here, a rib did puncture his lung, but we managed to fix that. He also has a sprained ankle, a broken wrist. The doctor pauses for a moment. Is there more? He asked, but he really didn't want to know. He was still trying to process everything that was just said. He is currently in a coma state and we don't know when he will wake up. That was the push for tears to start falling down Osamu's face. He didn't say anything. His room number is 23, when you're ready to see him. The doctor then left. Suna opened his eyes and saw Osamu's face full of tears. Babe, what's wrong? Tsumu, he. Hey, it's okay. Deep breaths. It took a few minutes for Suna to get Osamu's breathing under control and to calm down a bit. Itsumo, he's in a coma. Suna's eyes widened and he pulled his boyfriend into a tight hug. He rubbed his back to try and comfort him. Do you want to go see him? Osamu nodded his head and they both got up. Osamu led the way since Suna was asleep when they got told the room number. When they arrived outside Itsuma's room, Osamu was hesitant to open it. He didn't want to see his twin in that state. Once he felt calm enough, he opened the door and they both saw Itsumu laying there, hooked up to different machines, and 4 in his arm, a cannula in his hand and an oxygen mask across his mouth and nose. Osamu felt his legs go weak, but Suna managed to get him to a chair next to the bed. Sumu. His voice was like a whisper. He looked to see Itsuma's beaten face. He was covered in scratches, bruises and bandages. Both Suna and Osamu sat in silence for hours. They were both processing everything. Mainly Osamu, but it was a shock for them both. Should we tell the team and Sakusa? Usually Suna would use a nickname for Sakusa, but he knew this wasn't the time for it. Yeah, would you like me to do it? Osamu nodded and Suna pulled out his phone. Inarizaki Volleyball GC. Hey guys. Morning Suna. Is everything okay? No. Something has happened. What's happened? Well, Itsuma went missing last night and now he's in the hospital. Is he okay? What happened? Is he badly injured? Well, come on Suna. Is he okay? He's in a coma. What happened to him? Me and Osamu went looking for him after we couldn't find him in the house and he didn't have his phone. When we found him he was knocked out cold and in really bad condition. We got told this early morning his condition since me and Osamu stayed the night and fell asleep. How's Osamu holding up? He's still trying to process everything. If there is anything you need, don't be afraid to ask. Thank you. Once Samu has processed everything, I'm sure you guys will be able to visit. We will once Osamu is more comfortable with the situation. Okay. Well, I'll talk to you all later. Okay. Goodbye. Bye. 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 Everyone is offline. Sakusa and Suna's chat. Germaphobe. What? Have you found Sumu yet? Yeah, we have. Is he okay? He's in the hospital. Which hospital? Says hospital. Okay. Sakusa is offline. Suna is offline. Suna put his phone away and saw Osamu still looking blankly at the wall, completely lost in thought. I think Sakusa might be on his way here, but it'll take him a few hours. Osamu just nodded, only taking in half of what Suna said. Is there anything you want? No, I'll be fine. Okay. Well, Kita and the others said they'll be happy to help out with anything. Okay. Osamu then turned and hugged Suna tightly. Suna hugged back immediately and held him close. All Suna could do was be there. Osamu. He couldn't imagine the pain he was feeling, see his twin all beaten and injured. They both stayed in each other's arms for a few hours. It was a comfortable-ish silence. However, the beeping on the machines did make it slightly tense in case something major happened at any given moment. Osamu then spoke. It's starting to get late. We should probably head back. Suna was slightly caught off guard with this, thinking Osamu would probably want to stay, but he didn't say anything about it. Okay, do you want me to stay with you? Osamu nodded and they both got up. I'll see you tomorrow, Tsumu. They both walked out the room and Suna closed the door. They took a few steps away from the door before they were greeted with heavy breathing. They both looked up to Sakusa standing there out of breath from running. Sakusa, how is he? Osamu averted his gaze to the ground. He has a serious head injured, fractured ribs, a punctured lung, sprained ankle, broke wrist, cuts and bruises everywhere and he's in a coma. Sakusa froze. He was shocked of hearing everything listed before, but hearing the part about the coma caught him off guard completely. We're heading back now because we only got a few hours of sleep. Sakusa just nodded and Osamu took a step forward. Look after my brother. With that, Osamu and Suna were heading down the hall again, leaving Sakusa in the hallway. Sakusa went to the door and opened it. He saw his boyfriend laying there. Slowly he made his way over to the bed and sat down on the chair Osamu was previously sat at and gently put Itsuma's cold hand into his. Hey Tsumu, it's Omi.